Student Loan Nightmare: How to Escape Debt in 6 Simple Steps. You've clicked on this video, so chances are you're one of the millions grappling with student loan debt. Did you know that the average student in 2024 is graduating with a student loan debt of over $30,000? I mean, that's enough to buy a brand new car. What if we told you that there's a way out? Yes, even in this economy. The student loan crisis. Student loans in 2024 have reached a staggering high, with more students in debt than ever before. More like a ticking time bomb, waiting to explode. The dream of a better future often comes with a hefty price tag. But how did we get here? How did we end up in a situation where education, a basic right, has become a financial burden? It all started with the rising costs of education. As universities started charging more, students started borrowing more. And as they borrowed more, they ended up in a vicious cycle of debt. The irony here is that the education is supposed to be an investment in our future. But for many students, this investment feels more like a liability that they are forced to carry day in and day out. Apart from being in a financial crisis, student loan is also a social crisis, a moral crisis. It's a crisis that questions the very fabric of our society. Why should education, the cornerstone of our civilization, be a cause of financial distress? Understanding your loans. Well, now you know how big of a scary monster student loan is. But every monster has a weakness, and the weakness of this monster is knowledge. Yep, that's your weapon. And the first step to gaining knowledge is, of course, understanding your loans. Hey, I know what my loan is, of course. It's the money I borrowed for my education. Well, yes, but there's more to it. Student loans are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get, unless you read the fine print. There are different types of student loans, like federal loans and private loans. Federal loans are like your dependable old friend. They have fixed interest rates and flexible repayment options. Private loans, on the other hand, are like a wild card. They have variable interest rates and less flexible repayment options. For a better understanding, let's take an example. Meet Alice and Bob. Alice took out a federal loan while Bob opted for a private loan. Alice knows that her interest rate won't change over time. She also knows that she can choose a repayment plan that suits her financial situation. Bob, on the other hand, is in for a roller coaster ride. His interest rate can change based on market conditions. And his repayment options? Well, let's just say that they're not as flexible as Alice's. We know both Alice and Bob need to repay their loans, and the first step to doing that is understanding their loans. Alice needs to understand the terms of her federal loan. She needs to know what her interest rate is, how long her grace period is, and what her repayment options are. Bob, on the other hand, needs to keep an eye on the market conditions. He needs to understand how they can affect his interest rate and ultimately his loan repayment. Alright, so we've understood our loans. We faced the monster and we know its weakness. Now, it's time to take the first step towards defeating it. And the step is budgeting. Really? Isn't that something my grandma does? Well, yes, your grandma probably does budget. And you know what? Your grandma is a smart lady. Because budgeting, my friends, is the secret to financial freedom. A pro tip is to use a budgeting app. It can easily help you track your income and expenses. And most importantly, it can help you stick to your budget. Let's say you earn $3,000 per month. Your rent is $800, your groceries cost $200, and your utilities amount to $100. And your miscellaneous expenses come up to $200. That leaves you with $1,700. Now you need to decide how much of this $1,700 you want to put towards your student loan repayment. The more you put, the faster you reach your destination. Moving on, there's another way to reach your destination faster. It's refinancing or consolidation. Refinancing is like trading in your old car for a new one. You got a new loan with better terms to pay off your old loan. Consolidation, well, is like packing your multiple loans into one. You get a single loan to pay off all your existing loans. Let's say you have multiple student loans with varying interest rates. You're finding it hard to manage all of these loans. So, you decide to consolidate them. Now you have a single loan with a single interest rate. It's easier to manage, right? But wait, the interest rate on your consolidated loan is the weighted average of the interest rates on your existing loans. So you might end up paying more over the long run. Let's take another example. You have a student loan with a high interest rate. You find a lender who offers you a lower interest rate, so you decide to refinance your loan. Now, you have a new loan with a lower interest rate. You're saving money, right? But the catch for refinancing is, of course, the fees. So you need to make sure that your savings outweigh the fees. Next up, third step is applying for income-driven repayment plans. They're there to catch you when you fall. They're literally designed to make your student loan payments more manageable by capping them at a certain percentage of your discretionary income. You're a recent graduate earning $30,000 per year. You have a federal student loan of $40,000 with an interest rate of 5%. Under a standard repayment plan, your monthly payment would be around $425. But that's a pretty big chunk of your income, right? Well, that's where the income-driven repayment plans come in. Under an income-driven repayment plan, your monthly payment could be capped at around $170. Acceptable, isn't it? Keep in mind that applying for income-driven repayment plans is not a one-time thing. It's an annual process. You need to reapply every year, much like renewing your gym membership. You need to show that you're still eligible for the workout. Moving on, there's a way to get rid of your student loans altogether. Yes, it's possible, and it's called loan forgiveness. Loan forgiveness programs are like a get-out-of-jail-free card. They forgive your loans if you meet certain qualifications and fulfill certain obligations. One of the most well-known is the Public Service Loan Forgiveness, PSLF, program. This program forgives the remaining balance on your direct loans after you have made 120 qualifying payments under a qualifying repayment plan while working full-time for a qualifying employer. There are other loan forgiveness programs as well, like the Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program for teachers and the Nurse Corps Loan Repayment Program for nurses and nurse faculty. If you're a teacher working in a low-income school and you've been making consistent payments on your student loans for 5 years, under the Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program, you could be eligible to have up to $17,500 in student loan debt forgiven. Step number 5 is actually just to speed up your process. It's making extra payments. Yes, it's hard, but it's worth it. It can help you save on interest and shorten your loan term. Let's say you have a student loan of $30,000 with an interest rate of 5%. Under a standard repayment plan, your monthly payment would be around $318. If you stick to this plan, you'll end up paying around $8,184 in interest over 10 years. But what if you make an extra payment of $50 every month? You could save $1,372 in interest and pay off your loan 1 year and 8 months earlier. A discount on your loan. Lastly, you need to keep an eye on changes to student loan policies. And once you know, you don't wait for your student loans to become a problem. You take action to manage them effectively. Talking about policies, there's a recent change in student loan policy in 2024. The Biden administration have given the green light to cancel about $1.2 billion in student debt. And guess what? This isn't for a handful of people. We're talking about nearly 153,000 borrowers who are currently enrolled in the Savings on a Valuable Education SAVE repayment plan. You see, you need to keep up with the latest news and take action to manage your student loans. Well, that's it for today. 6 simple, effective steps to escape your student loan nightmare. So why not share your thoughts? Have you tried any of these steps? Do you have any other tips or tricks to manage student loans? Drop your comments below. Before you go, don't forget to check out our recent video on 4 tactics to protect your money in the age of inflation. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching.